When CC Sabathia left an MLB mound for the last time, everyone knew he was wrapping up a fantastic MLB career. 251 career wins, well over 3,500 innings, 2 seasons with 240 or more innings. All these things could very well never happen again for the newest generation of pitchers and onward. Pitching limitations and evaluating pitching stats have changed a lot since CC came up. CC himself has had his image change a lot over the years. Now, he's one of the most vocal and visible ex-players in the game. In the process, becoming a beloved industry figure who now works for the commissioner's office at MLB. But I don't think his career gets nearly the respect it deserves in hindsight. He was one of the last of his kind in terms of pitchers in MLB history, and his career should be preserved. So we're here today to show you that the one really good softball player and podcast host you might listen to was actually pretty darn good at throwing baseballs. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to tell you to like, subscribe, all those usual things YouTubers say at the beginning of a video. We also have merch. It doubles as a dish rag, if that's your sort of thing. CC Sabathia was the toughest starting pitcher to hit in the American League by the time he was 21 years old. When I was 21 years old, I was making YouTube videos on The Simpsons baseball episode. He debuted with Cleveland, which a good amount of the population probably doesn't even remember. Time really does fly, you know. His rookie year as a 20-year-old led the American League in hits allowed per 9, won 17 games, and started in a playoff game. And he was an above-average run preventer and strikeout getter. He was good enough to earn a 4-year, $9.5 million guaranteed deal after his rookie season ended, which is rare for young pitchers, even now. So picture that news in 2002. It didn't make CC the most popular among his peers. Something CC is very open about on his podcast is feeling isolated in the beginning of his career. Guys around him were threatened by someone that young and that good, so he didn't feel welcome in Cleveland's clubhouse for years. And he's actually talked about this being one of the biggest differences in the game when he came up. Young players today are in a much more clubhouse-friendly, welcoming environment than they used to be. Players of different ethnic backgrounds are no longer sticking in strict cliques like they used to. Barry Bonds actually said that's what he thinks the biggest positive difference is from when he played. And it's led to better team camaraderie and fostering a strong culture all around. But for CC, what really helped him get his feet wet in the clubhouse over time was becoming really good at pitching. By 2003, at just 22 years old, he was an all-star. By 2004, he was a 2-time all-star, who got Barry Bonds to pop out in the all-star game, so that's cool. He had a 609 OBP that year, so I'm counting it as an accomplishment for CC. By 2005, he was a key piece and one of the best arms on a team getting ready to contend again. Cleveland in this era was a team of fun dudes doing cool stuff. CC, Grady Sizemore, Travis Hafner, Coco Crisp, Kaz Tadano. They were fun, and CC was a key piece in that machine. I guess you could call them the Cleveland Show.
Yo, that joke sucked.
Oh hey, remember when Kanye spit a verse on the Cleveland Show?
Not long ago, I was lower than Lohan, no plan, a lost man, raising my little girl in a Cadillac Broham.
2006 would wind up being his best season to that point, and he was a workhorse in a way you just don't see anymore. 6 complete games. Only 2 people have accomplished that since 2015. This guy, and this guy. 2007. Oh, I missed 2007. But before I get too distracted, that would actually be the best year of his career to that point. Bam! 241 innings, 3.21 ERA, 19-7 record, a league-leading 5.65 strikeouts for every walk, and a Cy Young award. CC went from being one of the best young players in the game, to one of the best lefties in the game, to one of the best arms on the planet. He also became the youngest pitcher since Greg Maddux to reach 100 career wins. But what he couldn't do was keep a lid on things in the postseason. 3 starts, none of them went that great. Cleveland fell 1 game short of reaching the World Series in 2007. CC, most of all, hated that.
I didn't even give us a chance the other day, and that's something that I was definitely disappointed about.
He didn't deliver in crunch time, and missed out on a chance to pitch on the game's biggest stage. He came back in 2008 looking for redemption, It was the last year of his contract with Cleveland, so it was looking to be a make-or-break situation for him there. If things didn't go well this year, he would, never get to hear this song anymore.
Cleveland, come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings.
Nah, I'm just kidding. CC pitched fine. Not amazing, not overly spectacular, just good. Not good enough to single-handedly carry his team on the back to the promised land. Shohei Ohtani can definitely empathize there. Same thing with Pablo Sanchez on my Backyard Baseball 2005 save where he was with the Devil Rays. But the big bomb would drop on July 7th, 2008. Cleveland, a team with deep baseball history and long time standing in their community, traded CC to Milwaukee, a 39-year-old team with 2 career playoff appearances. A few weeks after the trade, CC and his wife paid almost $13,000 to run a thank you ad in a Cleveland newspaper. His time there touched him. For a guy who felt alienated at the start of his career, he left Cleveland feeling right at home there. And the city paid that back and then some. Today you can find a Little League field in Cleveland dedicated to and named after CC, which is just such a cool honor. Nice Baby Yoda hat, by the way, dude. And wait, I know that shirt from somewhere. But that was all in the past now. His life was now, okay CC, go save a team that's had next to nothing in their history and drag them out of the mud. Sound good? Well, he basically did that. No more fielders, do your thing.
We're here today to announce the acquisition of CC Sabathia.
To call the Brewers trade for CC Sabathia a good acquisition is to call the Burj Khalifa a tall building. CC Sabathia to the Brewers is the golden standard of trades. I guarantee that whenever a midseason trade for a high-ticket starting pitcher is made, the baseball ops team asks themselves one thing: is this the next CC Sabathia? It could be argued that what Sabathia did for the Brewers in 2008 was the most impact a starter has ever made for a team after arriving in the middle of a season. Don't believe me? Let's look at championship win probability added, or CWPA for short. I like championship win probability added here. It basically tells us who made the plays when they mattered the most. And that's why teams trade for high impact starters, right? They're not doing it to appease the gods of mediocrity, they're doing it to pack their trophy case. Here's the CWPA for 1984 Rick Sutcliffe. He was considered the OG of successful midseason trades. He was so good that he won the NL Cy Young that year despite not pitching in a National League ballpark until June 19th. Pretty good, right? Well, here's the CWPA for Doyle Alexander in 1987, when he was traded to the Tigers. This is the trade that infamously brought future Hall of Famer and Truth Social user John Smoltz to the Braves. Many forget that Doyle Alexander balled the out down the stretch for a Tigers team who narrowly edged out the Blue Jays for the AL East, even putting up 3 straight starts with a CWPA above 1. Among those was a start that stopped a fading Brewers team in their tracks, promulgating what would be a 25-year playoff drought. And now those same Brewers are trying to reverse Uno their way back into the postseason by picking up a game changer of their own. They had their sights set on CC Sabathia. Despite his relatively paltry numbers in the first half, every interested team figured it was due to the distraction caused by the storm of trade rumors that they themselves were generating. The Brewers were so anxious to get CC before the All-Star break that they sort of gave up their first-round draft pick on a whim just to guarantee they'd get him before the Dodgers had a chance to make a more compelling offer. Luckily for them, that prospect turned out to be Matt Laporta. With the trade rumors finally put to rest, CC only had to focus on one task: balling the out.
They call me Anna, even I'll be the one who's red out. See me as a sailor, I said I would always help and look good. You best believe I'm even better than your boys in the hood. I keep it cool as a nice kid. Before they wouldn't listen to my tools. Now they say I even wanna be just like you. Rip the beat and MC just like you. But I just let them be as I speed on right through. Push the pedal to the metal of the floor. I ain't ever gonna settle cause I'm headed for the goal. Set the show down, my blade is so sharp. Even if I see a deadlock, rip the door off. There's no sweat off my brow before I'm in the ring. So I'm gonna battle or what, man? Naive is the champ, DJ Cheek of the cut, man.
On the ground, a chance here. Durham to Hardy to first. In time! Sabathia! A complete game!
Wow. Unfortunately, as Game of Thrones fans can attest to, even the best of runs can have the most gruesome of falls. And for CC, as with seasons past, the magic fell short as soon as the calendar flipped to October. There was no stopping that Phillies team, as they had the power of Chase placed the game the right way Utley and Green Man on their side. CC knew that he just put up one of the most impressive auditions someone could put up in a contract year, and he was about to get paid.
So, right after this, the Yankees gave CC Sabathia a bag. They probably gave him an NFT of the emoji or something, too. This is the stage of his career that most contributed to his notoriety. There's a good chance that the average baseball fan just associates him with being a Yankee. I, meanwhile, grew up as a Mets fan, and one who was pretty much all in on the Mets in life during his time with the Yankees. Here, let me show you what I mean. See this clip with Willie Harris diving for a ball at third base? I'm probably 47 of these views over the years. So to help tell the story of Yankees era CC Sabathia, I'm handing it over to someone who actually watched it a lot closer than I did. A known dish rag haver, who's also a YouTuber.
All you need to know about CC Sabathia is that he threw over 250 innings in a walk year. When they signed him for 7 years and over $160 million, the Yankees knew that they were getting a workhorse and a leader. He went on to spend over half of his 19-year big league career in the Bronx. And as a Yankees fan who grew up watching him, I'm going to talk about the 3 moments that defined his Yankees career. In his first year in pinstripes, CC immediately became the ace of a rotation that desperately needed life. He threw 230 regular season innings and finished 4th in Cy Young voting, leading the Yankees to a big league first 103 wins. But that's not all the Yankees signed him to do. They were looking for their 27th World Series title and first since 2000, and they called on CC to lead the charge. October of 2009 was the month of CC Sabathia. He pitched into the 7th inning in each of his 5 starts, and he kept his ERA under 2. He was crowned the ALCS MVP after 2 phenomenal starts versus the Angels, and the Yanks won 4 out of his 5 starts on their path to 27. He was the big game ace that the Yankees needed, and this championship doesn't happen without Sabathia on the mound. CC's 253 regular season innings in 2008 are the most thrown in one season since 2004, and he followed that up with 266 innings including the postseason in 2009. Guys aren't throwing over 500 innings in a 2-year span. The workhorse starter doesn't exist in today's game, and what CC did from 2008 to 2009 shouldn't go unnoticed. The insane workload that he handled in the late 2000s and early 2010s just wasn't sustainable long term. Sabathia threw over 900 innings over the next 4 seasons, including the playoffs, but it was clear that he was running on fumes by each October. Save for a pair of dominant ALDS starts in 2012, he wasn't the reliable ace that the Yankees needed for their 28th championship. But he wasn't only taxed physically, he was fighting countless mental battles within his own mind. He describes himself at that time as a disciplined drunk. CC used alcohol as a mental crutch for his first 15 years in pro ball, but it never interfered with his performance. He drank to forget the loss of his father and his close cousin, and he drank to forget the survivor's guilt that plagued his mind almost every day. Late in the 2015 season, his life was falling apart at the seams. His knees and arm were in constant pain after 2 injury-riddled seasons, and his marriage was hanging by a thread. There was a time where he got drunk and started fights at his son's football practice, and his wife threw him out of the house, but he still showed up to the field every 5th day. He was absolutely dominant in September of 2015, returning from the injured list to help the Yankees barely squeak out a spot in the wildcard game, and he was lined up to get the ball against the Astros. But between his last regular season start and scheduled wildcard start, he went on a bender that changed his life. He was too drunk to throw a bullpen session in Baltimore. For the first time, his drinking interfered with his job, and he knew it was time for a change. He walked into manager Joe Girardi's office and told him that he needed to leave the team to save his life. CC made his driver take a detour to the liquor store on his way back home to New Jersey before checking himself into rehab. He was was the ace. He was supposed to be the guy the Yankees turned to in October. It takes balls to step away from the game in a media market like this at this time of year. But CC knew his life and family couldn't wait another day. He's now going on 7 years sober. His decision to go to rehab was necessary, but he still had some unfinished business on the field. The twilight seasons of his career saw him evolve as a pitcher and a person. He was now fit to lead as the elder statesman of the new era of Yankees baseball. Even if he wasn't the fireballing workhorse that he was when he first signed with the Yanks, he found a second wind as a finesse pitcher with nasty movement. He made 4 solid postseason starts in 2017, but the last moment that defined his career with the Yankees came in October of 2019. New York was on the cusp of falling behind 3-1 to Houston in the ALCS. In the top of the 8th, with a 3-run deficit, CC Sabathia emerged from the bullpen. He fought through a plethora of injuries and wasn't very good during the regular season, but here he was, aching knees and sore arm, to eat some innings for a team that desperately needed innings eaten, and he threw until he just couldn't throw anymore. The New York crowd roared for him one last time as he tried to muster up a little more out of his withering left arm, but something in his shoulder gave way and he knew his career was over. For 11 years, CC was a huge part of the Yankees locker room and of my life. He went through the highest of highs and lowest of lows during his time in the Bronx, and one thing is clear: there is only one CC Sabathia. We'll never see anything like him again.
There will truly never be another CC Sabathia. He left a legacy unlike pretty much any other baseball player. To this day, he's still a strong presence in the baseball community. He's still involved. He podcasts. He assists the league and commissioner's office. You could probably find him around doing something with baseball. He loves baseball with every bone in his body, and maybe now more than ever, it loves him right back. But with that in mind, he was still a way better pitcher and way better ambassador for the game than he'll ever get credit for. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, No More Fielders, and that's baseball. Go Orlando Dreamers.